Monsieur le ministre, bonjour. Merci de votre présence à notre émission. Thank you very much to be in our show. When I read, the information about the new government, Mr. Trudeau is talking about the wind of changing, vent de changement. I don't know how to explain that in English.
Yes, real change.
What is your expectation about when you're talking about changing? Changing what exactly?
No, I think what you're referring to is the program that we came into government with as part of the new Liberal government in Ottawa, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in 2015. We promised real change for Canadians, real change for working families, the middle class and those who are working hard to join the middle class. We promised real change for seniors to give them extra help with the cost of living. We increased their support, their guaranteed income supplement by 10%, which means more money in the pockets of seniors in Canada. We also promised to bring back the age of eligibility for the Canada Pension Plan from 67 years of age to 65. For the middle class, the first thing we did after becoming government is we cut taxes for the middle class. And we also, the second thing is we introduced the Canada Child Benefit, which is a tax-free benefit for people with children to help them with the cost of raising children. And that Canada Child Benefit has resulted in 9 out of 10 families having more money in their pocket and hundreds of thousands of children being lifted out of poverty. We've also cut small business taxes from 11% to 9%, and invested in transit, invested in housing, invested in youth jobs. So basically, an infrastructure. Infrastructure is a big investment. So basically, it's a government approach that believes in investing in people and investing in communities, as opposed to cutting services and cutting and not helping families. That's the real change that we came into office with.
Let's talk about immigration. I think today, most of the students at ENAP, they are waiting for you. Today, it's a big meeting.
Yeah.
And what I've heard, you're talking about francophone, immigration of francophone.
Oui.
For you, it's important. How could you explain that?
L'immigration francophone, c'est very important. We want to increase the percentage of francophone immigrants coming to Canada, and our target is 4.4% of all immigrants coming to Canada should be francophone, 4.4. And the way to do that is to do more outreach to francophone countries to inform those people that they can come to Canada to work and study and so on. The other way is also to create incentives in the system. So you know the express entry system?
No, but could you explain that?
So the express entry system is a point system that is open to everyone in the world, and they apply and they put their age, their work experience and their education, and based on those factors they get certain points. And if your points are good enough, you get invited to come to Canada as a permanent residence. Under that system, our government created incentives. So we now give more points if you apply through that system if you're a francophone. So the percentage of people coming through, the percentage of francophones successfully coming through the express entry system, Entrée Express, went from 2% to 4.7% in a very short period of time. So we're very proud of that. In addition to that, we have a plan called Plan d'Action for official languages, and that plan calls for more investment in francophone communities, nouveaux arrivants, communauté francophone. So let me give you an example. The francophone communities outside of Quebec have been asking for a francophone settlement provider to receive francophone immigrants at Pearson International Airport in Toronto. The reason is because they said if francophone immigrants come at the airport and if they're received by an English organization, they get lost in the system. This is something they were asking for many, many years. We delivered. We're the government that said, okay, that's true. Let's try to help you with that. And now we have a program in Pearson where if you land, the first question they ask is, are you French? Do you speak French? Not do you speak English first. So if you are a Francophone immigrant family, the Francophone organization will connect you and will help you. The other part of Plan d'Action is a principle, a philosophy that talks about pour et par avec communauté francophone.
Sir, I have that question from our viewers.
Yeah.
From Montreal, from Quebec, from Lac Saint-Jean. They're Africans. And most of them are very scared about the new program of the new government in Quebec here, who has another way to see things. I would like to know, what is your point of view about that situation?
Well, as you know, the relationship between Canada and Quebec on the issue of immigration is governed by an agreement called the Canada-Quebec Immigration Accord. This was an agreement that was signed in 1998, and it gives Quebec the exclusive prerogative to select economic immigrants. But for refugees and family class, we have shared jurisdiction. We work very closely with Quebec under that agreement. We fund the settlement and integration of newcomers to Quebec through our transfer payments to the government of Quebec and then the government of Quebec through MIDI. So that relationship is going very well, it's very strong, and we appreciate the collaboration we get from the government of Quebec. In terms of these new measures that you're talking about, whether it's Bill C6, Bill 9, or the other issues, there's a lot of analysis that needs to be made with Bill 9, and we have to study it. It's a very recent matter, but I can assure you that our approach has always been, since we got into office, to increase the immigration numbers, not to cut them, because that's what Canadians have asked us to do. Employers everywhere in Canada are facing shortages of workers, including in Quebec. So we believe that to grow the economy, we need to bring more workers to Canada, and we need to reunite more people together through family immigration.
So you come from Africa too?
Yes.
I think that you come from Somalia since 1993.
Yeah.
So you are the person who are very at the right place to understand what Africans people going through, especially about the political situation, the economic situation in our countries.
Okay.
Most of them, they see Canada as one of the biggest. I mean, the sky. It's a nice country. Most of them would like to come here, but we still have those Canadians, immigrants, who live here and who expect to have their families, like grandmother, like brothers, like sisters. What is your politic about that?
Well, let me tell you something. One of the key priorities for immigration is to improve client service. Not only did we increase the numbers in terms of the number of permanent immigrants that we invite to Canada every year, we've also increased the budget to help them settle and integrate into Canada. You know, when we got into office, the budget for the annual budget for settlement and integration funding was $700 million. We increased that by 30% since 2015, and now it's over $1 billion. Why? Because we believe in equipping people, giving them the tools, giving nouveaux arrivants the tools to succeed. Because when they succeed, we succeed. Canada needs them to succeed, right? So that's one. The second thing is client service. Having the immigration system eliminate backlogs, but also reduce the wait times. If you apply for an immigration program, the time should be reduced. It used to take too long in a lot of the different programs. So we had an agenda to reduce that. And I made sure that as we improve the client service of Canadian visa offices around the world, that Africa is not left behind. Okay? Because I know that there's a potential for African tourists, for business travelers and for students to come and benefit from Canada, but also to benefit Canada, right? And so I can tell you, this is why sometimes it's good to do these interviews, because it gives me an opportunity to update the community. We have done a lot in Africa, a lot. And I'll give you one small example. Nigerian nationals who apply for, legitimate travelers who apply for a visa, used to wait for 129 days to get a Canadian visa. That's how long it took to process the visa. Through the work that I was able to do with the ministry to fix that problem, we're now down to 30 days. So that is 99 days chopped from the wait times. That's 99 days less that the person has to wait. We've improved our visa capacity processing and refugee processing and economic immigrant processing in our visa office in Nairobi. We opened a new we opened a new immigration office in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Our offices in Dakar and Cairo and South Africa, I visited all of them. So we are very ambitious. We know that Africa has a lot to offer Canada in terms of talent, in terms of business travelers, and also international students. And I can tell you, the results speak for themselves. Nigerian nationals are now the third largest group who are benefiting from the express entry system. It's China and India and then Nigeria. So it shows that our policies are working for Africa. We want more African students to come to Canada to study. We want more business travelers to come and study. We want more investors to come and study. And I'm the immigration minister who has visited Africa 5 times to say that exact message. I've met with students, with businesses, with government, with all kinds of groups, right? So, and I'm proud to say that as we have improved our processing and client service for the rest of the world, Africa has not been left behind, and I have made a conscious effort to make sure that Africa was brought up to the same standard. And I can assure you, in places, even in the refugee sponsorship cases, like places like Nairobi, which were facing backlogs, I don't know if you read, a couple of weeks ago, for example, there was a front page story in the Toronto Star. We cleared the backlog of all the African refugees who were stuck in places like Cairo and Nairobi and Pretoria, and they have all landed in Canada. So I'm proud of our record with respect to Africa, but I think what happened is because the previous government ignored Africa for so long, the community sometimes is not up to date on the information. So I'm proud to have this opportunity to update them.
So you feel like a happy man working with Mr. Trudeau?
Yes, absolutely. He's a great prime minister who is ambitious on using immigration as a way to really grow our economy and be a global leader in attracting talent. You know, the global skills strategy that we introduced in June 2017, just that one program, we've attracted 15,000 highly skilled people. 25% of them are Americans. We used to lose talent to the US. Now they're coming here. So, because of our immigration system and because of the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And each of those 15,000 people who have come through global skills has created an average of 10 jobs. That's 150,000 jobs just from one immigration program.
Sir,
that's the power of immigration.
My last question.
Yes.
You feel happy, man, to work with Mr. Trudeau, but still we have some resignation. How do you explain that?
This is a late breaking news. I can speak personally because Mr. Gerald Butts is a personal friend of mine. I've worked with him. I've known him and worked with him for many years. I worked with him in the office of the leader of the official opposition in Ontario as early as the year 2000. So I've known Gerald Butts for 19 years. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that is committed to public service. He has always contributed to making Canada a more progressive country, and we owe him a huge debt of gratitude for his service to Canada. And as a personal friend, I really wish him, his family, Jody, and the children well. I have no doubt that whatever he does next, he will succeed, and he's an amazing individual, very talented, very special, very committed to Canada, and we were so fortunate to benefit from his service. And I just thank him for everything that he has done for Canada.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour, ici Henri Ngaka. Ne ratez surtout pas nos prochaines émissions présentées à ICI Télévision depuis Montréal. Ça va causer!